Look at it.
No, there we go. I just need to get closer. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're good.
All right. Perfect. Cool. So how the hell are you?
I'm good, man. What's the word?
Oh, man. Like, since the last time we talked, there's like been 40 million things that I thought of that I wanted to talk about.
Same.
Well, you go first then. What do you got?
Oh, man. What do I want to talk about? I actually had a question, and I've been thinking about this for a little while now. Do you think the female DJs are more sought after right now than the male DJs?
Yeah, Captain Obvious. What do you think, bro? I mean, look, we are in the entertainment business, you know. We're trying to get the most eyeballs and ears as possible packed in these venues, you know, as a business. Like, you know, I mean, look at movies, look at anything. Having a beautiful woman is going to help more people, you know. It gets butts in the seats, you know. So
Yeah,
it's sex sells. Sorry, yeah, sex sells. Yeah, of course. What do you think? You got something on your mind? Like what's...
No. I just been noticing it. I don't know if I was wondering if you noticed it. I've been noticing it. I gotten quite a few calls like from agencies or you know, people that want to book DJs, and they'll call me. Hey, do you know a female DJ in your city? And I refer a couple of DJs that I know, but it's happened probably 3 or 4 times in the last couple of months that I've gotten these calls.
Yeah, I actually, I think I talked to, man, I don't know if I should even say who. Yeah, I don't know. It's not bad, but I talked to Cinnamon about this a little bit, and I go, does it kind of bug you a little bit whenever people want to book you because you're a female and not necessarily because you're a dope DJ? And I bring her up because she's actually a dope DJ. Shout out DJ Cinnamon.
Yeah, what's up, Sam? What'd she say about that?
And she said, yeah, it kind of does. She's like, I wish that, you know, I don't mind, you know, she's doing well, but yeah, I think that you gotta wonder sometimes as a DJ, like, am I getting booked? And you know, and she's just the what do you call it, like a double threat or whatever, where she's you know, an attractive lady. And shouts to Anthony. I was just saying that, like, you know, she
we ain't trying to move in on your girl, dog.
Yeah, not trying to. I got a girlfriend, but she also happens to be a dope DJ, and yeah, where I think you're going with this is, what about those scenarios where a female is getting booked and she's not necessarily a good DJ, she just looks good on the flyer? Is that kind of what more irks you?
No, it doesn't irk me. I was wondering if you noticed. Because like I said, I've gotten like direct calls from companies and agencies that are wanting to book like DJs, and they call me, hey, I need a DJ for XYZ date for this event, but we're looking for a female DJ. And like, that wasn't a thing that I was involved with until a couple months ago.
No, I think as long as I've been DJing, I think now we have more women DJing, which I think is awesome, because who better than women to DJ? And like, when I'm DJing, I'm thinking about what are the songs that women are gonna like. Spoiler alert, I don't care about dudes at all. If a guy comes up and requests a song that is like a guy song, there's about a 2% chance that I'm going to play that song.
Right.
But if a girl comes up and is like, hey, can you play something, you know, for the ladies? It's hell yeah. Because if the girls are happy, the guys are going to be happy. If the girls are on the floor shaking their ass, you know, and I've found that when you cater to the women, you have less problems in the club. The girls stick around longer, but the DJs that play the stuff that, you know, that the men want to hear, those tend to be the clubs that can be a little bit more rowdy, and you know, the vibe is just different. I prefer a sexy vibe when I'm DJing versus, you know, Nuck If You Buck, which I do play Nuck If You Buck, so I couldn't like.
Nuck If You Buck, dog.
Yeah. It's
love that record.
Yeah, it's classic.
Turn up, throw a chair.
That actually kind of like, I don't know, we can talk about that more if you want to, but that actually kind of ties into one of the things that I wanted to talk about, or talk to you about, ask you about, which is So what are the things that DJs should do in order to level up besides just being born a woman? Just kidding. I'm sorry. No offense. All respect. But if you can't transition, what what are your options? What are the things that you can do as a DJ? Like, is battling still important? Is your battle resume important? Is your production resume important? But like, well, I'll stop there, and I just want to hear what you think are some things that maybe there's DJs that know what to do and just need a little reminder, a little kick in the ass, but also new DJs that may not know that they should be focusing some of their energy on these areas.
And I think it's all important, right? Like, I think that, battling is important. I think the production is important because all those aspects of DJing helps you just be a better DJ in a club. Like, if you're a battle DJ, you have in my opinion, you have a more creative mindset. So like when you're putting together your sets or even on the fly, like you're just able to create different transitions than just being, one song after the next and one song after the next. The argument is always that, skills don't matter as long as you play the records, blah, blah, blah. Like, the crowd will love it. I think what happens with a battle DJ or a more skill set style DJ is the fact that, we can play the records, but we also can put our own little spin on it that sets us apart from the person who can't. So, and that lends itself to production too. Like if you got, a remix or a record that you're playing that somebody else doesn't have that people like, then that sets you apart. So again, we're in a game where like if we're all doing the same thing, then where's the value? Because you're just interchangeable. And like we've definitely, I think, gotten to that point where like the managers and the promoters, they think that like, oh, well, if I don't have this person, I can just get this person or that person or that person because they're all just interchangeable. So like when you have that mindset where like, oh man, skills don't matter, I just need to play the songs and blah, 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 then you just fall into that gray area.
Right.
So,
right. You're just filling a void. We need a DJ for tonight. Let's go with old trusty. But also like that also segues into like building your brand. Right. Like your brand may not necessarily be turntablism, but what is it going to be? And you can build a brand not necessarily off scratching, but off track selection and differing yourself from other DJs. And I think there's a bunch of DJs in St. Louis that have done that great, but there's also a lot of DJs in St. Louis that I feel like have kind of watered down their brand a little bit by doing, kind of doing everything. That's one. And we talked about this the other day where sometimes we screw up our brand by taking gigs that are not necessarily in our best interest or in the best interest for our brand. And so like, and I'm just going to use myself as an example. Like I, for most of my life, have also played other genres of music, whether it be, dubstep, house, like electronic music. I'll just say electronic music.
The EDM.
EDM. But, for so long, I was that top 40 open format DJ. And now probably people think that I'm a hip hop DJ, which I am, but I'm all of those things. And if I keep taking gigs where I'm always playing either, open format sets or playing hip hop sets, then I can't be mad because I keep getting overlooked for EDM sets.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that. Yeah.
So thinking, like having a little bit of, take a minute and think as a DJ of like, what do I want the future to look like? And like, I need to make sure that I'm making decisions that are in alignment with that, because you don't have to do every gig. And so just taking this a little bit farther, I don't play country music. If somebody
you drive Morgan Wallen, man?
No, man. Well, look, man, if somebody wants to offer me like $2,000 to play country for the night, I will figure it out. Yeah. I will go crazy that week and like download everything and practice, and I'll make it happen and I'll pull it off. But that's not what I want to do. So I'm going to let somebody else take that gig.
Right.
I got to let that money go. And, you know, some people say, man, you never leave money on the table. But as a DJ that's trying to build a brand, I'm saying, and I don't know if you agree, but I'm saying maybe sometimes it's better if you don't, because you don't want to get pigeonholed. You don't want to be stuck doing a gig every weekend that is not your, you know, what you want to do. And the next thing you look up 5 years from now and you're just A-Flex the country DJ.
Well, yeah, I mean, you label yourself by default when you do that. Like when you pick a genre that, you know, I don't want to say unique, but unique, like country, right? You become a country DJ. Like that's what you are, especially if you're going to do it for that long. And there's nothing wrong with that, but if that's not what you want to be labeled as, like even with a hip-hop DJ, if you don't want to be labeled a hip-hop DJ, like doing every hip-hop party you can, you know, not doing anything else, you're going to get labeled as a hip-hop DJ, you know. So that's just what the universe is going to do to you. But then going back to what you said before, like, you know, it's EDM or it's country, like, what are you going to do as a DJ to be like, all right, this is why you need me? And I think that there's a lot of DJs now worldwide. There's a ton of DJs. So it is hard because there's always somebody else that'll do it. And now since there are so many, that the pool gets saturated enough where like there's so many that aren't good versus the ones that are good, and the ones that aren't good, because there's so many of them, they make more noise.
Yeah. So also, if you end up in that situation, there's something you can do about it, which is another thing that, you know, I guess we all know at this point, probably one of the ways to build your brand, way to get your name out there, get gigs, social media.
Yeah.
Big surprise, right? But, you know, let's say like myself, for example, like I play a lot of hip hop and R&B at the gig that I'm currently doing, but I want to get booked at, what's it called? Is it Rise?
Yeah.
To do, you know, I want to open
up
for
EDM act, yeah.
Whatever, right? Yeah, I want to open up for, you know, big name DJ at Rise. Like, let's say that's in my mind. Like, that's, man, how do I get there? Well, then use your social media. Like, put out mixes, whether, you know, it's on YouTube or throw reels out there on Instagram and show people like, hey, I do this other thing too. This is what I'm trying to do. Come see me spin hip hop and R&B. But also like, hey, I'm trying to get booked. You know, when you show people like, hey, I'm doing this other style, or, you know, it could be production, it could be whatever, you know, whatever your lane is, whatever your avenue is that you're trying to pursue, that's what you can use social media for, and start to build your brand and push things in that direction while you still can, you know, continue to do what you're, you know, currently booked for right now. Sorry if that was, hope that
I definitely
makes
agree.
sense.
I think that, yeah, I mean, social media is the way to go. Like as far as, and that's how a lot of DJs are getting their attention now. You know, back in the day, you know, us old grandpa DJs, what we had to do was go run around town, right? You had to be in this room and that room, shake this hand, tap this person up, talk to this person after hours, go meet somebody for food, blah, blah, blah. You know, that was the networking game back then. Now the networking game is online. And that's just the, you know, the world we live in, which is fine. Like, I don't have any beef with it. I feel like everybody should use it to their advantage, right? Like, whether you want to go out of town, if you want to, you know, DJ in different rooms, like, use your social media to your advantage for sure. But then also, like, again, like, do something on your social media or do something that makes you stand out. I mean, if you're interchangeable, then it doesn't matter. And then, and two, like a lot of the guys who do DJ, like say they open at Rise for whoever, like some EDM act, if you go see them at their regular Friday night gig, guess what they're playing? Top 40. You know what I mean? Like,
right. You're going to play a different set,
right,
depending on the room.
They're playing hip hop or top 40 or whatever. They're not playing that stuff all the time. Like, You know, then there are a handful of guys that are like, you know, I don't do that. So then they only will open, you know, for those EDM acts, and then maybe they have a different job or whatever, and that's all they do. But the guys that are like, you know, DJing for a living, like when they DJ across town somewhere else on a Thursday night or Wednesday night or whatever, you know, they're playing everything under the sun just because you have to.
Yeah. Yeah. And even the DJs that, it was kind of a trip, and I don't know. I always feel kind of weird talking about other DJs because I'm like, what if they hear this?
That's all good.
One of my favorite DJs is Miles Medina. And, you know, I watch these videos of him, you know, and he's playing these crazy sets, you know, super creative, probably one of the most creative DJs that I know of. And then I saw some video of him playing like a regular spot on a Saturday night. And for a few minutes, he was doing the Miles Medina thing, but then quickly broke into a set that was really similar to what you would do or what I would do. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. I get, like, when he goes and plays and there's a big crowd and they're expecting, you know, they want to knuck if you buck and they want to swag surf and they want to, like, he's playing those records too. Granted, he's doing it very well.
Right.
But, you know, and then I saw that with DJ Dynamics at Pepper Lounge that one night where, you know, he started out with his kind of opening set, 10 minutes of just murdering it. But then, you know, he's playing Lean With It, Rock With It and Laffy Taffy and the, you know, the usual suspects as far as like, you know, the hip hop, you know, top 40, classic, whatever joints.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's, yeah, depending on the room and whatever. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you can build this brand and then somebody will book you and go, no, we want you to play. We want you to do your Miles Medina set, or we want you to do your DJ Q set, just like what we saw on, you know, YouTube or whatever. And those are like the opportunities that DJs live for. And that's how you build a career, kind of like a Jazzy Jeff type person, where he's, you know what you're going to get. Even if he plays a festival where there's all these EDM DJs, like, you're getting, you know, welcome to Jam Rock and, you know, stuff like that. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. You can't tell him what to do, but you booked him to do what he does. So he's going to do that. So think about that, you know, and you can work towards solidifying that for yourself, whatever it might be, you know, on this musical spectrum. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different avenues and different directions you can go, you know, with DJing, and whether it's, you know, being a Jazzy Jeff or, you know, being a Jazzy Jeff is probably a little bit more difficult nowadays than it was before, or maybe not. That guy is like the anomaly to the DJ game.
You feel like people will party to music, like, it's weird because if he plays, you know, let's just say Welcome to Jam Rock, people are like, oh yeah, hell yeah. But if I played Welcome to Jam Rock, you know, with crickets, people are just going to go, what are you doing?
I think what happens with like headliner DJs like a Jazzy Jeff or anybody like that, I think there's a bunch of hype that gets built up around that DJ coming in to play the set.
And not to take anything away from him.
No, it's not. It's not about him. It's just about like hype. Like
it helps.
Like when I would travel, and I would go to other cities, they would hype it up. Like, you know, I'm just, you know, to me, I'm like, oh, I'm DJ Q from St. Louis. I would go to Scottsdale, Arizona, and it was a big deal. Like, they would treat it like it was a big deal because I'm an out of town DJ, and like I would go there and I would play records, and they would like lose their shit, and I'm like, you know, to me, I'm just me. You know what I mean? But the club, the promoters, the staff would build it up, you know, and make it like a big deal. So when the people came in the door, they're like, this DJ Q guy is here. You know, I walk around my own city, like, you know, people don't give a shit. You know what I mean? But like when I went there, or Des Moines, Iowa, or wherever, right? Indianapolis, like I'd come in, I'd play my set, and like they treated you like a superstar, and they hyped it up, and so people would go crazy. It's just like when you know, people come here to go to Rise, you know, like, and people pay for those tickets to go see whoever, Slushy or whoever these, you know, EDM acts are, it's all about the hype about the situation because they hype it up. The one thing the clubs don't do and the bars don't do here for the local DJs, and this might happen in other cities too, is they're not hyping it up every Friday and Saturday night. Even their local DJ is going to be, they make a flyer, but they just kind of loosely put it out there. You know,
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
reluctantly.
Like,
Look, I'm that way. I reluctantly, post on Instagram. It's like, everybody come see me. But yeah, you're right. I think there is kind of a cultural thing going on here in St. Louis where it's just a little bit of a St. Louis attitude where we don't really hype up local DJs, no matter how big they are. You could have the best DJ in St. Louis on a spot, and it's like, yeah, we got so and so.
I think it's every city though. I think it's a weird thing when it's
I don't
a
think
local.
so. I think that there's a different machine at work in different cities, and I just got off the phone with Boogie B. Shouts to Boogie B, who lives out in Kansas City, and I said, hey man, you want to jump on the podcast with me and talk about the differences between how DJing, like the business of DJing in St. Louis differs from Kansas City? And he's like, yeah, let's talk about it, because he's lived both.
Yeah.
And there's pros and cons to both. Like, and I don't want to speak for him, but that side of things, like what we wish that the clubs and the way that DJs and people supported people in St. Louis, they do that out there.
Yeah, I mean, I've played in Kansas City a ton, and again, like when I went to Kansas City to play, yeah, they hyped it up, like that I was going to be there. But it's like a thing for out of town people. When someone from out of town comes in, like I was just listening to Road Podcast, right? And Neil Jackson's on there. He's talking about living in New York, and he said the way he built his brand to get booked in New York, he went and DJ'd outside of the city, like in other cities, Atlanta, where else he said, North Carolina, places like that, right? To build him up. So like when he would DJ in New York, they were like, oh, this is like national talent. But he lived in New York. So it was this weird thing to create this hype. But I do think it's a local thing too, because when I was going to Vegas to DJ and I was going to LA to DJ, DJ D Double from Def Tall DJs is living in LA. He was like, and at the time didn't have any kids, didn't have any responsibilities here in St. Louis. I talked to him about moving, and he was like, don't move to LA. He's like, don't move here. Once you move here, you become a local, and when you become a local, they don't care about you. He's like, they care about you when you come from out of town, because it gives them something. It gives them something to hype up. If you're a local, it's like you're just here.
So that's it. Is like you have to give them something, this machine, something to hype up. Mm-hmm. And that kind of ties it back into how the conversation started with what can you do? If you're trying to build a brand, if you're trying to expand, and you have to do that. You got to have constantly be refreshing, like your photos, your flyers, your Instagram, your mixes, your reels, your YouTube content, all of that. And then here's another thing. I don't know if we're ready to move on yet. Can we kind of?
Oh yeah. I mean,
all right.
Yeah.
I don't want to beat this one to death, but health also kind of plays a factor as well. Like do you look good up there behind the DJ booth, or are you, or do you not, and or do you typically feel good, and do you have energy? Like, are you getting enough sleep? Are you hydrating? Are you exercising? Like, where do you think that falls in with the success of your career?
It's a vain industry. You know what I mean? Like it's a vain industry that nightlife, like, you definitely have to have a look. You either have to have a look, or you have to be really, 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 really good and bring something else to the table. Like, I mean, every so often, I forget this guy's name.
You're saying that I'm just really, really good. Because I definitely don't have the look.
I remember this cat in college, man. This cat, man, he was just fat and sloppy. I can't remember his name. Wasn't a DJ. He was just like a a popular guy, and everybody knew him, and he was always out, and he was always around, and everybody knew this guy. But he wasn't, wasn't a good looking guy. He wasn't, but like everybody knew him, like for whatever reason. So if you're not, super attractive or whatever, like you, for whatever reason, you got to have that thing that people want.
The Riz.
Yeah, the Riz, right. You got to have that. But I think you definitely, and I think that, this kind of plays into the female DJ hands because, they can go DJ in a bikini top. You know what I'm saying? And that shit looks good.
You can too?
Like,
Come on, Q.
You know what I'm saying? That shit looks good. But yeah, you definitely, you got to bring the energy. You got to be awake. You got to, have your health together and,
yeah,
and be somebody. Because at the end of the day, you're an entertainer too. So, yeah, I mean, it is a vain industry. The same with the bartenders. Like, if you look behind the bar, if you're working someplace and you look behind the bar and you got some sloppy looking bartenders and the place is kind of slow, that's why. Like, that's why.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's true. And it's competitive out there. There's some places, I've talked about this before as far as like, Spruce Street goes, but like there's competition down there. It's the same thing on Main Street. A lot of different districts throughout. Like, there is a competition going on. There's a war going on where some people don't even know that they're in a battle. They don't realize that somebody's out competing them because they're not trying. They're just like, oh, this is who we are, and this is, we're good with it. We're not going to try to be better, try to compete or whatever. And sometimes that works, but chances are, the owners are thinking to themselves like, man, what can we do to do better? But they're not willing to make the changes that are necessary. And it might be different bar staff. It might be different DJs. It could be, your security or jerks or whatever. Like, so you have to regulate, like all those things have to be in alignment in harmony for things to go smoothly and for your business to start to bloom. But, yeah, so kind of back to the health thing, not to like turn this into a testimonial, but I don't DJ a lot of nights anymore, especially not anything like late, like 3 o'clock bars, because I wake up so early. I've got a day job, and it really affects me when I mess with my sleep schedule. And I know people that their sleep schedule is... they're like team no sleep or whatever, and they can just stay up. Like I saw Reese at Tin Roof Sunday, and I'm like, have you been home? He's like, nah, man, I slept for like an hour in the car. Shout out to DJ Reese. But he went out and kicked it after DJing at Pops or the Oz or whatever all night. I can't do that. My body just is not resilient in that way. So I have sacrificed a lot of gigs and a lot of money because I have to turn those down and let somebody else, take those spots that might be, younger or may not need as much sleep, or their schedule's different or whatever. And just my kind of testimonial or whatever to you, whoever's listening to this, is like, think about that and put your health first. You have to prioritize that. And I make sure, like when I DJ on Sunday, I get a good night's sleep the night before. I make sure that I'm eating well so that I feel well. Like all of those things factor in to your ability to be successful and have the longevity to stick it out through the years.
I mean, it's definitely a point to be made about that. I mean, what happens though is, we get in this nightlife game, this industry, and things are moving fast. They're moving really fast. Things are always going on. People always want you to go here, want you to go there. So it's easy to get caught up in that
temptation.
Yeah, and to be honest, like part of it though, as a younger DJ or a newer DJ or whatever, you kind of want to be involved, right? Like you kind of got to put in those years of living fast because that's how you get you become part of the scene. You know what I mean? Like I think that older DJs like us, we could probably gig more if we wanted to, but what that would involve is being involved in the scene more.
Yeah.
Being at the industry night I think it said Start Bar on Thursday nights is now the industry night now. where it used to be like Pepper Lounge on Sundays. I don't know if that's really industry night anymore, but being at that Thursday night spot every Thursday, because that's where I've gone a couple times, but that's where the quote unquote industry is, and just hanging out, going to Pops or the Oz after your gig. You know what I mean?
No bueno.
Like,
I mean, you do it. You go for it. Anybody else?
But
like,
I think that's part. I
just-
think that's part of it, though. Like, I think it is part of it. Like that's a part of the hustle. Like, again, like we're looking at it from a standpoint where we did that and we kind of passed it, right? Like, we got other things going on, we got different lives. But as a new DJ, a younger DJ especially, I feel like that's a part of the hustle.
Yeah.
Like, you definitely gotta get out and beat the street.
Yeah.
And be at these parties or these events or these clubs or these nights, so people know who you are, along with playing the social media game, right? Because people see you on social media, but they gotta see, and things move so fast, right? Like, everything's moment by moment. So what happened 2 weeks ago, no one, it's gone. It's gone.
I just thought of something that I want to throw in here because we're talking about, going out at after hours or industry nights and stuff like that and networking with people. And this isn't a new thing, but I had it happen to me a few times recently, which is people will come up to you and, they kind of want to kiss your ass or whatever, but you can tell they want something from you. They're like angling, trying to get, hey, oh, what's up, man? So good to meet you. Hey, I'm an MC and I'm trying to see if, you guys need an MC or whatever. And it's like, they get straight down to like trying to ask you for something. This is a person you've never met before. And it's like, hey man, can you talk to me like a regular person for a second? Instead, it's like, you're going to just walk up, ask me for something. And when I'm like, hey man, I don't know. It's like, then you're just done. I didn't give you right away what you wanted. So like, we're done now. You walk away and and it's like, man, you know what? I might have helped you if you just would have just hung out a few times and been cool and gotten to know me. I got a little homie, Big Sam, super cool kid. Yeah. He didn't ask for anything. He just showed up and was hanging out. And I'm, I don't want to say I'm taking him under my wing. That sounds weird, but like, he comes up and hangs out and DJs and stuff like that, and asks me questions and whatever. But it seems like genuine, like he's being a friend, like he's being supportive and all that. And so I guess what I'm saying is, don't do that. Be like Big Sam. Don't be that guy that's coming up like, hey, I'm trying to DJ here. Especially
what
like
I gotta
when
do
you're
to get on.
Right. Yo, these Sundays are popping. How do I get on here? And it's like,
that's
you want to take my Sundays away from me? Sure. Let me get you the manager's phone number. Like, What are you talking about, dude? There's a long line of like veteran DJs that I would definitely hook up way before I hooked you up. I literally just met you.
That's that whole thing of like people just wanting to be on, like, it's not that they want to learn how to DJ. They just want to be in the spotlight.
Oh, bro, don't get me started on that.
You know what I mean? And that's what all that kind of stuff is all about. Like, you see it whenever you're in a position where, like you said, like Sundays are going well, it's popping. It's always going to be that DJ or that MC host. What I got to do to get on? What I got to do to da 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 da.
They want to shine off your shine.
They want to, they just want to jump in, and take over. When it's like something like you've been DJing this day for years, and built it up.
It's so funny to me. I'll be DJing on stage. I'm like in the center of the stage, and somebody will get on the stage and stand like in front of the DJ booth and be posing or whatever. And I'm like,
what are you doing?
What? You're like literally you're obscuring the view of the crowd, like because they're looking at me and you're making them look at you and you're not doing anything. Like you're just trying to like get attention and you're not doing anything. It's so silly. It's so absurd, but alcohol does crazy things to people.
That's a part of, that's a part of like DJing, right? Like, in working in nightlife, like you got to deal with some
drunk
nonsense.
People.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, there was this drunk girl on Sunday. Oh my god. Oh my
Why is
god.
it always drunk girls? Though? It's every time.
You know what I hate?
You know what I think about it? There's
I
some
try to
drunk
be
guys
nice.
sometimes.
I try to be nice, but I couldn't. I was just like, I just wanted to be like, go. I need a drop. It's like, can you please remove yourself from the DJ booth?
But you know what's funny? They don't hear it.
They barge in and they're like pushing you out of the way so they can try and stand in front of the DJ booth in front of the turntables. And I'm just like, what are you doing? You're going to take here's the headphones. Go for it.
Super aggressive.
Like
there's some videos circulating.
So annoying.
There's some videos circulating online on Instagram, I think, and Facebook and stuff like that, of videos of like it's like one of them actually just dropped the other day of boiler room sets. If anybody knows what happens with boiler room, they basically put a DJ like right smack in the middle of a dance floor with the crowd, and everybody's just surrounding them with like no barricade, no boundaries or anything. So it was a funny one where like this guy literally does like a flip off of something and lands on the DJ gear like while this guy's trying to DJ. You can tell it's like a funny meme thing.
Let's make that the cover art. For this podcast.
I can do that. And the thing is, it's like it's funny, but at the same time, like people don't realize the crap that we deal with, like. When somebody drunk is coming up, it's like, yo, like
it's like the holding the phone up to your forehead that says "Play Bad Bunny." The person that's like barging their way in front of you in the DJ booth, like who started this and how did it become like it went viral? Like
it's being
rude to the DJ is and it doesn't as much like what do you even do? How do you respond to this?
The Bad Bunny thing to me is funny because like I think that became a viral thing some kind of way, but like I mess with people. I'm like, so you want to hear Bad Bunny? Name a Bad Bunny song. And I can't do it because it's just like this thing that went viral to say I want to hear Bad Bunny.
Yeah, well, some of them might. Like I do get a lot. I get a handful of Bad Bunny, but I also get to play some Latin music. Except for Bad Bunny, like Bad Bunny, like he had his moment.
I haven't seen a Bad Bunny request. I haven't had a Bad Bunny request in a minute, but like that whole like thing that was going on, where it was like every time you DJed, every DJ across the world knows what we're talking about.
Yeah,
the whole like Bad Bunny, play Bad Bunny, but it was never like play XYZ song. No one ever said just play 50 Cent. They'd be like play in the club, right? No one ever, like.
Yeah, they want something just more specific.
The whole just Bad Bunny thing, it became this viral thing out of nowhere. Like I don't know how that happened. Like where did that come from? I had to do some research on that, figure out how that became a thing.
I don't know. Whatever he's doing though, he's like.
I mean, Bad Bunny's killing it. Yeah. But the whole like, I don't know. Like, and then for me, like I was like, okay, which one of these Bad Bunny songs is really popping? And. I didn't feel like none of them really were. Like,
what's funny, like because I don't speak Spanish or barely, you know what I mean? I'm probably like my Spanish is about that, like the equivalent of a toddler.
But how many times did you drop a Bad Bunny song?
I don't know what he's saying. I'm scared that I'm going to play something that's like either super dirty or
I don't trip off that.
I know you don't, but I'm just saying like I don't know what he's saying. I would like
I don't know what they're saying in any of those Latin songs.
But
if you're not speaking English, if it's not Pitbull, like I don't know what they're saying.
But I will. I definitely I've downloaded a handful. I actually hit up Chulo, and I'm like, hey, like people keep asking for Bad Bunny, like give me like 5 or 10 Bad Bunny records so that I have them ready just in case, because people are going to come up and ask for them. And he sent me a little list.
Did you play the Monaco record? The Monaco record was like slamming online, and I went to play it, and it was crickets, bro.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's... so I've had some conversations with people about that where they're like, man, you got to watch what's going on TikTok and throw the songs that are popping on TikTok into your sets.
It don't work all the time.
It don't work like that. It don't work.
All the
People
time.
know 5 seconds of that song, but they don't really want to like hear the whole song and vibe to it. They just associate that 5 seconds of the song with a bunch of silly things or dances or whatever. But yeah, don't try to go to a club and download the TikTok top 50 and think that you're going to rock the club. It just is not going to work that way.
That stuff's wild. I learned that too. Like, people were like, that's TikTok songs. I, figure out, all right, what song are you talking about? and you play it, and you be like, it's like no reaction.
Yeah.
You'd be like, okay, I'm going back to the. We're not doing this anymore.
Right.
But yeah, it's wild. Like, yeah, the whole Bad Bunny thing just tripped me out. Like, I didn't get it.
Well, and then, as we read the room, we're the type of DJs that are going to try and read the room. We take these requests and then we watch. Nobody started dancing. Actually, we saw people, go to the bar or leave the dance floor or whatever.
Right.
And so in our minds, we're going, okay, well, I'm not playing that next week. That didn't work.
Yeah.
Out. And so that's
crate.
out. But then they come back, somebody comes up the next week and they're like, play Bad Bunny. And you're like, it doesn't work.
Right.
I would like to take requests. I want to make you happy because you pay to get in here to see me, or you're supporting me, or whatever it is. But what you're asking me to do doesn't work. And I'm trying to convey that to you in a nice way, but you're being difficult, because you got the wants. I want it. And you said no. It's like, man, has nobody ever told you no before?
That's the whole request. That's the request about anything. Like, what people don't understand, why DJs are so frustrated with requests. Like, people think we're assholes because we don't want to take requests. Because you as patrons of the bar are narcissists, right? You're only thinking about yourself and what popped into your brain at that moment. As a DJ, we are not thinking about ourselves. Like, we are, again, reading the room, watching the room, seeing what happens when we play this and seeing what happens when we play that. And that's how we're moving on to the next record and building the vibe for the room. Like, when you guys come up and request songs and we're like, no, that's not going to work. We know it's not going to work because we're standing up there looking at everybody and how they're reacting to the things that we're playing. So when you say, hey, can you play Fast Car by Tracy Chapman? And I've been playing a bunch of hip hop, or I've been playing this, and everybody's having a good time, and that song is just going to suck the air out of the room. It's like, no, we're not doing that. And for you to get all upset about it, like, you haven't looked around to see what's going on.
Can I add something to this too? The proper way to request a song is with like a $10 or $20 bill in your hand.
That too.
People have gotten real used to asking for requests, and they just walk up and like, "Hey, can you play some Sexy Red?" and walk off. And it's like, it's like the Charlie Brown's teacher. Right. I didn't even hear what you just said.
Hear what you said.
I thought you were gonna play. Hold on. I speak one language.
Right. Well, we know. I know a couple DJs that definitely are advocates of the tip jar. I mean. Yeah.
To me, it's a little corny.
Here's the thing for me about the tip jar thing. Technology's crazy, so like, obviously not a lot of people. I won't say not a lot of people. I'm one of those people that never has cash, right? So like, I would like to do the tip jar thing, but I don't want to carry around a physical jar or bucket or whatever. Like, I want to set something up where you hit my Venmo or Cash App or something. But I'm not mad at the tip jar thing. Like, I think it's a great idea, but I just don't want to carry around a physical bucket and set it out.
Yeah.
Like, I want to come up with something where it's like, all right, hit my Venmo real quick.
But yeah, look, and just, I know, like, it's going to be a bunch of DJs listening to this. It's not going to be like regular people. So, I mean,
I think regular people will listen to this. Yeah.
Maybe two. But,
gotta.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened with tipping, but like, you want good service, you gotta, and it's weird. Like, people will tip here and they'll tip there, but they don't tip, So, and again, I'm not asking for money. I'm not saying, hey, you got to come up and tip me just for DJing. I get paid just to DJ. That's cool. I get my check at the end of the gig. But if you're asking for something special, like, hey, it's my girlfriend's birthday, can you play her favorite song? It's,
well, you tip
whatever,
the bartender to make your drinks, right? So like,
right. I'm just saying, like, yeah. if you want me to go out of my way, if you want me to like veer off the path that I'm on to do something specific for you, like I I would not do that. I wouldn't come up to a DJ and go, "Hey man, can you, do a shout out and play a song for my girlfriend and not tip the DJ?" To me, that's just it's crazy. But I'm industry, so like that's
But I think too, like you're asking us to do something that's off the beaten path.
Oh,
that's not.
Sorry, go ahead.
It doesn't fall in line with what we're doing at the moment.
But this ties back into what we were talking about last week, or the week before, when it's like DJs that are DJing for whatever $200 and bringing a full setup are messing up the game. The DJs that are playing requests and not getting tipped, are they messing up the game?
I mean, you could say because anytime that you do things that sets a standard, and that standard is not the standard that we want to have for our industry or for our career, like, yeah, that's messing up the game. So, like, if you're just, like, accepting requests all night, you just, playing, like, quote-unquote jukebox, and no one's tipping you, when that person goes to the next spot and they see another DJ, they think that's just what DJs do. They just take requests and just play whatever, like, the people in the crowd tell them to play, no matter what it is, especially if it's, like, the DJ's playing this vibe and this person wants them to change directions, and then they're just like, okay, like, what are you doing? Because when they come, and that's what happens, when they come see me or they come see you and they're like, yo, I know you're playing this, but this will be so cool. And we're like, no, it won't.
So how do you say, look, I'm not going to play your song unless you tip me in a nice way? Or actually, I'll try and come up with the nice way. What is the Q way?
The Q way?
What's the DJ Q way?
I tell them straight up, like, listen, like, nah, we ain't doing that right now. You know what I mean? Like, we're just not doing that right now.
But that's straight up, like, that's turning them off. That's going straight to, like, it's not going to happen.
Here's the other part.
How do you open up that door to, like, maybe how important is it to you?
I don't have time to have that whole conversation and have a round table about the song.
Explaining. Sure.
Explain. We ain't got time for that.
All right.
Because we're moving, you know what I'm saying? We're 2-3 songs ahead of what we doing right now. So, yeah, we don't have time to sit. And that's another thing about, folks coming up in the DJ booth. Like, we don't have time to talk to you. Like, we are doing something.
Oh, yeah, not a whole conversation. Yeah. Like, dude, the people will come up to me and be like, man, hey, Flex, man, my dog just died. I'm like, dude, I'm on stage in the middle of a set, bro.
Right. Let's talk about that later.
Like, you can
tell me about that, like, later.
What are you doing? I don't want to hear your life story while I'm in the middle of DJing. Oh my God, that just drives me nuts.
My grandma just died. Like, what?
Yo.
Why now, bro?
Man, like, because I can't get into, like, I can't be emotional when I'm DJing. Not that kind of emotional. I got to stay happy, because my energy is going to be, like, reflected. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, I start playing depressing, like,
I think that this
Post
ties
Malone
into,
songs or something.
This all ties into, like, how do we, as DJs, make our job more serious so people take it serious? I think that's what it is. I think that people don't take what we do seriously. Mm-hmm. So they think that they can interrupt it at any time. They can, they can just say and do whatever they want because they don't take it seriously. Because, I don't know if you want to talk about what you do for a day job, but, like, for your real day job, when you're doing what you're doing, like,
pimping,
people aren't just gonna, if you're like, yeah, I'm working, people aren't just gonna, like, run in, into your job to be like, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
They just run up on us.
Right.
There's no, it's like the most disrespectful thing in the world. Like,
tell them, hey, I don't run up in McDonald's and tell you how to make French fries.
I have done that before. Like, somebody, like, ran up on me and I was like, what do you do for a living? And they're like, oh, I worked for Edward Jones. I was like, what would you do if I just randomly walked into your cubicle and sat on your desk and started talking to you about some nonsense?
Making requests is not that's not the same. I'm just saying.
But I'm talking about the approach, though.
Yeah, if you could approach, if somebody approaches you like that, that's whack. But
then I think it ties into, like, everything. I think it ties into rates. I think it ties into, like, all of it, right? Like, how do DJs make the occupation of DJing more serious and more concrete? So, rates can be better. so people will respect you for what you do for a living. All these things, right? Where like it's crazy. Like we know, and we've probably been in positions too where we've made more money DJing than a lot of people that work like corporate jobs, right? But people don't respect it. Like what's the difference between like
Well,
a DJ and somebody that owns like a lawn service? Like people respect that guy cuts grass for a living. They respect that, and he owns a lawn service. Oh, that guy's a DJ. Oh, he's a DJ.
well, okay, so like we work like in the bar industry. People are drunk. There's alcohol involved. Also, like there is like this negative connotation. Like there's don't ever date a DJ. Like biggest red flag. Never date a DJ. Stuff like that.
Right.
So I think that's part of it. I think some of it is people think like when you say DJ, they have this like archetype in their mind of like who they are. And I actually was talking to my girlfriend about this the other day where you know, and I was explaining to her, I go, you know, it's funny because like some of the guys that I DJ with, you know, they're married or you know, they've got girls that they've been with for a long time. They don't cheat. They take care of their kids. You know, they have like real, you know, their
Real
lives are
lives.
together. There are a handful out there that are running the streets and being little, you know, Thundercats. Not going to say any names, but
Yeah, but so are there cats that work for Edward Jones.
right. And so I think that there's something to that. I think that's part of it, but also like I don't know the right term to use, but hold on one second.
Okay.
Like owning your space as a DJ and being confident and sure of yourself as people are approaching you, and just be direct with the patrons, be direct with the promoters and whatever. And sometimes I think it's hard for people to be direct because they want everybody to like them, or they don't want to come off as, you know, a dick. But I think that there's a way to do that, a way to balance it, where it's like you can be fun DJ guy, and also go, well, yeah, but I need X, or I need you to stop doing that. And I've wrestled with that for a long time. That's something that you know, I want everybody to like me. I want to have fun, but I also will not really tolerate that much BS, especially when I'm performing.
This is my question though. How do we make the DJ more professional, where people respect the profession? Right? How do we do that? Where you can say, I'm a DJ and this is what I do for a living, and you know this profession that I do is a legitimate job, right? We're not like selling drugs, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, but at the same way, we're in a way we're entertainers, right? So we're bringing joy. You know, we're not clowns, but you know, we're not. You said Edward Jones. You know, we're not like.
But the revenue is there.
But it's not about the money. They see us as like we're the court jester or something. Like we're there to entertain them, make me happy. You're here to make me happy. So tell me the joke, play me the song, do the thing that's going to make me feel the way that I want to feel. And we also need to, like, we're bringing joy to the room. So, you know, we can't be hard asses.
Well, not necessarily hard. I'm talking about like not just the room. I'm talking about as a whole. As you know, the DJ as a profession, like how do we professionalize it where people respect it? Again, you know, as far as like people approaching us, how they approach us, how we get paid, all these things, right? Like how, because the money can be there, right?
I think the damage is done, right? Whatever, you know, throughout the years or whatever, like how that stigma about DJs, whatever created that historically, like we're not going to get rid of that. Just same way it's like how do we make it so that everybody loves the police, right? You're not going to sway public opinion, maybe a little bit, you know, but that would take, I think, decades for us to do that. But like I said, owning your space and not worrying about, I don't need to worry about the whole profession. I just need to focus on myself, how I carry myself, what I'm doing, and know where my boundaries lie, and stick to it. I think that's the best that we're gonna do. At
I
least in
think that
this.
there's DJs out there that have professionalized it, that do well. Like I mean, I was
Absolutely.
in a space where before the pandemic, where I was doing really well as a DJ, but it was just weird that like, I could make six figures DJing and people didn't respect it as a profession. Like that's what's crazy to me. Like
Yeah,
that,
you say you're a DJ and they go wicka wicka.
right.
You're like, all right,
The
cool.
meme, there's a meme circulating on, social media about like, so and so is doing this job and so is doing that job. And oh, there's little Bobby. He's our little DJ. Like it's wild because little Bobby, the DJ, is probably making more than his brothers.
You know, one of the reasons that I even became probably one of the things that made me want to be a successful DJ was, I'm just gonna say, my grandpa, rest in peace, kind of giving me a hard time about buying DJ equipment when I was a teenager. Oh man, you're wasting your money. I'm like, I'm gonna be a DJ. He's like, yeah, right. And him having that attitude and kind of like the condescending attitude that he had towards just made me want to prove him wrong. And I don't know if he did that on purpose. I'd like to think that he did.
Yeah.
But then later in life, 20 years later or whatever, sitting down with dinner and he's asking me like, how'd the gig go this Sunday? Yeah. What is it? And that was so awesome to kind of see the full circle of, him just thinking that it was a pipe dream or something, into like him, the actualization, and him, seeing me become successful and being proud of me and all of that. So
yeah, I think that story, a lot of DJs have that story. Like I have that story with my dad. I bought that little DJ thing. And that's another meme that's going on right now. Like, if you look on social media, that's another meme. Oh, how's that little, or it's not really a DJ thing. How's that little business going? And then you start doing stuff and then you're like, hey Pop, I'm going to Las Vegas to DJ. What? Hey Pop, I'm going to be on the news, or hey Dad, I'm doing this gig, or I'm DJing for this person, or whatever. I'm DJing in this space, and I'm like, wait a minute,
yeah,
you know what I mean? So I think a lot of DJs have that story that someone in their family was like, you're going to do what?
yeah,
Yeah.
So it's no secret, right? I've got a day job, but not what I'm doing now, but what I was doing a decade ago or whatever. Some people that I worked with knew that I was DJing, or they, they had some idea to what degree, where, they knew that I had been on the radio or whatever. But a lot of people come and go, and a lot of people had no idea. They didn't know that I DJ'd at all. And I remember I was DJing Mardi Gras, I don't know, a decade ago, whenever it was, and a couple of my coworkers went down to Mardi Gras and just happened to walk in front of the DJ booth and looked up at me, and their jaws were on the floor.
Yeah.
And they're like, Alex, is that you?
Right,
like,
right.
yeah. And they had no idea that that's what I did on the weekends. And, of course, then, that's what we talked about every lunch break for the next couple of weeks.
They almost vicariously want to live through you too.
Yeah.
Like, you work in a corporate space and then you DJ on the weekends. Like
it's better to show them, like, for them than to like, if you tell somebody you're a DJ. I've got somebody at work right now that's like, she gives me a hard time anytime I talk to somebody new. She's like, watch, he's gonna tell you he's a DJ. And she thinks that it's like the CrossFit joke, like how long until, you tell somebody that you're a DJ. But it's also, that's part of the game. Like, you have to let people know that you do it to get them to come out and see you and to build your, audience and stuff like that. So, yeah, you got to, see where you can throw it into conversation. So, like, don't be ashamed of it,
Yeah, I don't think, like, a lot of people are ashamed of it, but, like, it'd be nice to, like, have like some respect behind it, where people look at it like, it's a real job. Like you brought up like dating and stuff earlier, and like, being in relationships, as a DJ, and like, and how like, you may talk to, try to date, and like, you're a DJ. I don't know if I can do that, because you're a DJ, and it's like, man, like, dang, you just like shot me out just because that's what's going on. Like, that's what I do.
You need a confident woman. because the roles are kind of reversed. Like women are used to being the ones that have like guys coming up to them and talking to them all the time. But when a woman knows that that's going to be reversed, that you're a guy, because they've probably gone up and tried to talk to the DJ before.
Yeah.
You know, so they're thinking, oh no, this guy has a superpower that, you know, I don't know if I'm going to handle that being
if I can deal with
balanced.
that.
Because as a guy, we know all the time, especially if you date a beautiful woman, guys are going to be approaching her and trying to get at her, and they're slick. Dudes are wolves. We know this.
Right.
But girls know girls too, and how sneaky girls can be. So they're like, man, it's not, I don't trust you. It's, I don't trust how sneaky other women can be.
The situation.
And you're like, so yeah, it's better to kind of like try to get to know somebody for a while before you drop the I'm a
it.
DJ bomb on them.
You know, but it's wild. Like you've probably been in this situation. Like you're out, you meet a chick, and you guys start talking, and then it's a problem that you're a DJ. But I'm like, you met me
Yeah.
as a DJ. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I've been there. Like, it's like, what you mean? Wait, what?
What's the equivalent with women?
I don't even know.
You got
I
a
guess
kid?
Maybe the female DJs now,
Or,
maybe they got to deal with
No, nobody cares. And female DJs only date other DJs.
that. You think so? I don't even know. Yeah, I guess Cinnamon DJ is dating another DJ. I don't know about the other DJ, the other female DJs who they're dating. I have no idea. I just know Cinnamon because we've known their past relationships, but
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend anybody. It's kind of a blanket statement.
Yeah.
It's common. I think it's common.
Well, you know what? You know, it's funny. You say that, like Agile One. She's married to Crucial. They're DJs, both
Yeah.
of them. You know, but what's equivalent to like for the guy, like maybe a stripper?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Dudes are dogs, though. Dudes,
I mean, I wouldn't.
Not
date a
all
stripper.
dogs. I definitely would not.
I feel like people would equate that. But
you think
I
that's the
wouldn't.
same red flag?
No, not at all. I think it's way different. I wouldn't date a stripper because, like, I don't.
Yeah,
you know, you're naked. Like everybody sees you all the time. Like, no.
I wonder if women see it the same way. The way that guys
Yeah,
view meeting a woman, finding out she's a stripper, is the same way that when a girl finds out that a guy is a DJ, if they're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh my God, like it's the
People-
same ick.
I really think that people equate that, but it ain't the same. It's
No,
not.
it's not. No, it's definitely, it's definitely
Like,
not the same.
but I have
just-
heard that before. Like, but they have, but like, it's not the
Yeah.
same at all because. Yeah, we're DJs. We're gonna say like people approach us, like, you know, women will come up to the DJ booth and request a song or whatever, but I'm not out, you know, swinging. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you're a stripper, I mean, nah,
Yeah.
you can't be touching my woman like that all night. Nah, nah, I'm good. I'm not down for that at all. No.
Hey man, I don't know where we're at as far as time. Probably getting pretty close to an hour.
Yeah, and they talk about strippers. You got a stripper story real quick?
Do I have a stripper story? What do you think? Do I have a good stripper story?